in the availability of affordable computing technology has caused a number of major shifts in the way that society operates. The majority of these have been for the better, with home computers and the internet providing unlimited access to all of the information ever created and discovered by humanity. There are, however, some less positive social issues generated as a direct result of technological advances. In the interest of balance, it is important to analyze this and assess the severity of their impact so that steps can be taken to better understand and combat the negative effects.
There are 10 social issues that computers have created. But I will be talking about two particular issues, mainly identity theft and privacy. First up, identity theft. So what is identity theft? It is a crime of obtaining the personal or financial information of another person for the sole purpose of assuming that person's name or identity to make transactions or purchases. Let us take example the posters that we say and see today on Facebook and on other different social media platforms. Many types of identity theft can be prevented. One way is to continually check the accuracy of personal documents and promptly deal with any discrepancies, and with proper care of our privacy, which is the second topic I will be talking about. So what is privacy? Privacy is the ability of an individual or group to seclude themselves or information about themselves and thereby express themselves secretly. While high-profile cases of online identity theft and fraud should have caused people to become more careful about how they use their personal information, issues of privacy and a lack of appreciation for the risk are still widespread. Here are tips on how you can protect your privacy on social media, on internet. First, limit the personal information you share on social media. Number 2, browse on incognito or private mode. Number 3, use a different search engine. Number 4, use a virtual private network. Number 5, be careful where you click. Number 6, secure your mobile devices too. Number 7, use quality antivirus softwares.
Communication breakdown. Socializing within a family unit has always been important, as it strengthens the bonds between us and ensures cohesion within the group. But with more and more households owning several computers and numerous portable devices granting access to information and entertainment, some argue that this is the leading to of family communication. If each member is engrossed in their laptop, smartphone, or table each evening, even communal things like watching television and compromise. Meanwhile, you can see whole families who are out to dinner and still straining into touchscreen rather than taking to one another. And if you're the one driving to that family dinner and texting while driving, you are distracted driving, increasing your risk of crashing and potentially causing death and injury. Increasing your digital well-being by allowing technology to improve your life and not to become a distraction to your life and others. Your life and others are more important more than technology. Cyberbullying. As with the defamation of public figures, the internet and computers have also made it easier. Spiteful people to attack people they know personally as well as perfect stranger via the anonymous platforms that are available to them. This had led to serious incidents of cyberbullying involving both children and adults, sometimes with tragic consequences. The problem with this technique is that they tend to go under the radar to an even greater degree than traditional bullying, which makes in order to detect and correct.
Let's talk about the social issue in information technology of terrorism and crime. Computers have been a positive force in allowing for the creation of global movements and a righteous activism in a number of forms. However, the other side of coin is that terrorists and organized criminals also exploit the web for their own nefarious purposes. Businesses, governments, and individuals are all at risk of cyber attack, and the perpetrators can often act anonymously from countries with no extradition agreements. Let's talk about the social issue in information technology of sexuality. This is a less clear-cut topic, but there are fears that unmitigated access to pornography for adolescents is shaping the sexuality, proclivities, and expectation of young people in problematic ways.
Mga estudyante at guro, gaano ka-secure ang online classes ninyo? Dahil ngayong pandemya, kung kailan nakabase lahat sa computer, ang privacy ng klase, nakakaalarmang pwede palang makompromiso.
Kung ano-ano na po yung malalaswang pinakita nilang video na nakahubad. Nakakatrauma po sa mga kaklase ko.
Takot din ako at nagulat kasi may sexual predator na nakapasok sa online class nila.
Health and fitness. We are living increasingly sedentary lifestyles because computers are removing the need for us to physically carry out many tasks, as well as keeping us rooted to one spot throughout our working days and during our leisure time. Not to mention the physical issues that can arise from our constantly looking down at our smart devices, forever buried in a blur of FOMO. FOMO means fear of missing out. This leading to an epidemic of childhood and adult obesity throughout the developed world, with the UK possessing one of the worst records in this respect of any of its Western neighbors. Education. The educational properties of computers are well known and universally lauded, but having all the information in existence on top has its own issues. In particular, the practice of plagiarism has become a major problem, as a student can simply copy and paste whole chunks of text from online sources without attributing the work to anyone else. This has become the bane of educational institutions, which tend to come down hard on detected plagiarism in order to discourage similar activities from others.
Defamation of character. Defamation of character is defined as the act of ruining someone's reputation through slander or libel. An example of defamation is spreading lies about a public figure that destroys his or her career. The utterance of a false statement that harms the reputation of another.
Defamation of character is a wrongful act where someone makes a false statement of a fact that injures the reputation of another person. How can I defend myself against a libel or slander lawsuit? Number 1. The statement must be proved false. Truth is an absolute defense of defamation. If a statement is true, it can't be defamatory. For example, if someone said Bill stole $100 from the grocery store and he was convicted of that theft, it's proof and not defamatory. Many defamation lawsuits are based on the question of whether a statement about someone is true. Number 2. There must be communication. It must be proof that the statement was communicated. If you wrote something about someone and you did not send it to anyone or publish it, there is no defamation. Communication requires a receiver of the message as well as a sender. Number 3. The statement is opinion, not fact. A statement must be false to be damaging. So an opinion is not defamation. An opinion Bill is a short-tempered jerk can't be proven to be true or false. It's not defamatory. But Bill stole $100 from the grocery store isn't an opinion. So if it's false, it could be the subject of a defamation lawsuit. Number 4. There must be harm. The plaintiff must prove that his or her good name has been harmed. If you say someone is a deadbeat and no one believes it, there is no harm. On the other hand, if you say someone is a deadbeat and a bank declines to give that person a loan, he or she has a case against you for defamation because there was no harm done to that person because of the statement. Video game addiction, also known as gaming disorder or internet gaming disorder, is generally defined as the problematic compulsive use of video games that results in significant impairment to an individual's ability to function in various life domains over a prolonged period of time. Negative effects of gaming addiction. Number 1. Health issues. Spending a lot of time playing video games instead of indulging in physical activities can be detrimental to a person's health in several ways. A person's cognitive development may get affected if he or she doesn't get out and socialize in the real world. Constantly sitting in one place and playing video games at length can increase the chances of obesity, weaken the muscles and joints, make hands and fingers numb due to overexertion, and multiple studies suggest that it can even weaken the eyesight. Number 2. Academic issues. The fun that video games provide is in stark contrast to a typical day in school. This can cause a person to prefer video games over anything else, thus pushing them to not pay attention to schoolwork. Even outside school, they may skip homework or studying for tests and choose video games instead. This can result in poor performance and affect their emotional intelligence. Number 3. Exposure to wrong values. Many video games in the market contain excessive violence, over-the-top sexuality, profanity, racism, and many other things that cannot be perceived by kids in the right manner. They may fail to take these depictions with a pinch of salt and may end up trying to emulate the same behavior as portrayed in the games. Their brain architecture is still developing and they won't be able to differentiate right from wrong until being exposed in the real world. Like for example, in this video. Number 4. Makes you socially disconnected. Even though multiplayer games exist, most people end up playing them by themselves in their own rooms. This severely limits their interpersonal skills in real life, and they may prefer being such by themselves and interact digitally. Such person fail to strike up conversations and feel bored and out of place at social gatherings. And as a result, chances of adjustment disorder, depression, anxiety, stress gets high in their working as well as personal life. Aggressive behavior. The violent content in video games and the instant gratification that they provide can cause a person to be impatient and aggressive in their behavior. When things fail to go as planned or any restrictions are laid on them, they may lash out or start harboring aggressive thoughts that can manifest in troublesome behavior. To keep the amount of time spent gaming under control, try these tips for adults and kids alike. Number 1. Set time limits for play and stick to them. Number 2. Keep phones and other gadgets out of the bedroom so you won't play into the night. Number 3. Do other activities every day, including exercise,